Welcome back to the series of videos here looking at the notion of formulas and functions within Excel. Today I want to look at, look at the if function and, if I get time, the COUNTIF. Now looking at here, right, you must always ask yourself three questions when you are dealing with a new concept. Why do we need it? How is it provided? And what the kind of mechanics of that component. So looking at this one here, I'm going to put in an if formula in this column here, which is basically going to tell me whether Queen Live Killers tapes or vinyl sold better based on their revenue. Okay, now we need a function there to see if that's okay. Now I could, if you wanted to, and there's more than one way to kind of do this, is obviously get the difference between them, and if it's positive, you know what I mean, tapes are more selling more, like get the difference between tapes revenue and vinyl revenue, and if it's positive, tapes are selling more, and if it's negative, vinyl is selling more, and if it's zero, it's fine. Okay, but obviously you just want to be able to incorporate this into one straightforward function. The function that we will use is the if function. Okay, so if I go to insert function, and again remember, I would suggest you use insert function until you become used to actually typing out the values and so forth like that. So if I click on all, right, and if I press on, in this case, I, okay, sorry there, but if I go to here, and if I click on here, and there's these ones here, and if I click on I, it brings me to the functions beginning with I. And the first one there is if. Okay, checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if true and another one is false. Now, it's okay for most of these values because one will be bigger than the other. There might be a few exceptions, but we'll get around that after a while. So if I click on OK, right, the logical test, there's three things here. The logical test is basically here, is checking on this particular row, is the value of tapes revenue in cell G4 if that is greater than the value of vinyl revenue in J4. Okay, now if that's true, we know that the tapes of this particular album sold better. So what we could do is just do tape, and if it's false, vinyl. Okay, now if you click back up here, okay, it will actually give you the supposed answer. Now here I am using actual strings of text, but I could put in their value if true. I could put in a cell reference to give me either tape or vinyl. Okay, but if I click on OK again, remembering that we just want to start off slow, we can see here that vinyl sells better than tape. Okay, but obviously you want to check that. So even if we just did this, okay, we know that we sold 15, but even if I change this to 5 for just 2 seconds, we can see now that tape is shown. Okay, so I'll change this back to 15. Whoops, sorry, 15, and press return. Now again, I can use the fill handle to bring this down. Okay, now there are a few problems here. Okay, there are a few problems here. That if we see here, for most of them they're okay. Alright, you can see that there is a distinct difference. Okay, but there is one case up here where the Metallica Black, okay, the Black Album, okay, we can see that both the tape revenue and the vinyl revenue are the same. Okay, but it's giving me vinyl. Okay, that vinyl is, what was I going to say, the value. So what you actually have to do there is actually make a nested if statement. Okay, so like we could say here, okay, if G5 is greater than J5, yes, or greater than or equal to J5, tape is that. But then what we have to do is kind of do a third or fourth condition. But I would suggest for the moment, what I will do is come back and look at that. But for the moment, obviously, is the if function, just leave it. It's typically, it will either be one or the other. You're never really going to get, like if I did here, equal to. Okay, it now says tape because I changed it from G5 equal to, greater than or equal to, rather than just greater than. Okay, so you have to watch out too for that. Okay, excuse me. Alas, there is no AutoSum for that. Okay, you have to work out the logic first of all. But I would strongly suggest that you do work out the logic first of all. Okay, so what I will do now is look at this. Okay, these are the straightforward examples. But what I want to do now is kind of work in an example here to see if both of them are okay. So I'll just do a quick example here. Okay, that if I say here tape, if G5 is greater than or equal to J5, yes, tape is the mechanism. But then what we have to kind of do is another if here. Okay, if J5 is less than, okay, I'll just do what I was going to say is less than, okay, actually if J5 is greater than, okay, this one, okay, then we'll put in vinyl. Now if neither of them are true, okay, we can just put in same, right? Now I'm not going to press return, I'm just going to make one more change here. It's no longer greater than or equal to, right? There is a lot here in this one formula, okay, and it's good to take it in. I'm saying if G5 is greater than J5, in other words, if the tape revenue is greater than the vinyl revenue, we know it's going to be tape. However, if that's not the case, in this situation where they're actually the same, I must do a kind of a second test because there's actually three possibilities. Okay, so if J5, in other words, if vinyl revenue is greater than tape's revenue, we state vinyl. Now, if neither of those two are true, then we can say same. In other words, both are the same. So if I press return, okay, and it does say here that they found a typo, okay, and do we check the correction now? In this case here, I just want to check here, okay, the same. So I just want to go back here. That if yeah, there was a simple typo that I must have just I'll just go back to undo. I just want to just check something here. Okay, tape. If G5, okay, vinyl, okay. Yeah, I think what actually I did was that I left out the comma. Okay, there, I could be wrong, but just to go over that again, if, okay, there should be no spaces either. Okay, there should be no spaces at all. Okay, if, and in this case, J5 is greater than G5, then we know vinyl. Okay, otherwise, comma, always your parameters are separated by commas. Same, in other words, both things are the same. Now we close off the inner if, okay, with another set of brackets. You can actually see it there, that they're done in red as opposed to the other ones. Okay, so if I press return again, and there I verified, I think I'm nearly certain that I think there that it's actually, yes, there was a space in between the if. I just want to check something there. Okay, if J5 is greater than, okay, just another thing too, I forgot to get rid of that one. Yeah, okay, there's a lot going on there, but just to explain, okay, you're testing the first thing there, okay, and so forth. Now this is only when more than two scenarios can happen. Typically will be only one, but if they're both the same, obviously we got to watch out for that. Okay, now that's what's known as kind of a corner case. In other words, it probably won't, just must undo that again. Okay, and autofill handle up. Okay, So yes, we've got one product that was the same, and we've got all those. Okay, now that's pretty straightforward, and what I will do next is in the next video look at the notion of COUNTIF.